In our fast paced world, empathy is often portrayed as optional, as soft, as something to indulge in during moments of leisure or crisis, but not as a core function of life. And yet, everything, from the decisions made in boardrooms to the conversations held at dinner tables, it is shaped by whether or not empathy is present. Empathy is not agreement. It does not require us to condone actions, beliefs, or behaviors. What it requires is acknowledgement. It requires the discipline to listening deeply without planning a rebuttal. It requires curiosity, not assumption. And perhaps most challenging of all, it requires us to set aside our comfort to sit with someone else's truth. So, why, if empathy is innate, do we struggle with it so much? Part of the answer lies in protection. To feel deeply is to risk discomfort. To open ourselves emotionally requires us to be vulnerable. And vulnerability in a world often obsessed with dominance and certainty is seen as weakness, and so we armor up. Technology complicates the matter. We are more connected than ever, and yet, paradoxically, often more emotionally distant. Social media platforms allow us to see snapshot of others' lives, but they rarely cultivate true emotional resonance. We scroll past suffering, we like, we comment, but we do not always engage. Empathy in the digital age requires intention. It requires slowing down the scroll long enough to wonder, what did this person feel? And what would it mean for me to feel it too? Empathy also lives in language. The words we choose or don't choose shape our ability to connect. Saying, I understand, when we don't, can close a door. Saying, tell me more, can open one. Empathy listens not to respond, but to understand. The presence of empathy can transform even the most difficult situations. In conflict, empathy does not erase difference, but it softens its sharp edges. It makes room for multiple truths to coexist. It moves conversation from accusation to inquiry, from defensiveness to dialogue. It does not guarantee agreement, but it makes agreement more possible. Empathy is also a skill we can build. It begins with self awareness, recognizing our own emotional responses and biases. From there, it expands through practice. We learn to ask better questions, to hold silence without filling it, to let others complete their stories without interruption. We learn to stop assuming that our experience is the universal one. Children are some of the most naturally empathetic beings, yet over time, many are trained out of it. They are told to be tough, to not cry, to stop asking so many questions. Reviving empathy requires us to do some of this unlearning. It requires us to model empathy, not just demand it. Understanding empathy also means understanding its boundaries. Empathy is not codependency. It does not need absorbing everyone else's feelings as your own. Healthy empathy holds space without becoming consumed. It honors another's experience while staying rooted in one's own. In relationships, empathy is the difference between being heard and being healed, between surviving together and thriving together. It builds bridges in moments of distance. It steadies connections in moments of strain. It reminds us that being human is not a solitary experience. Ultimately, empathy is both a mirror and a window. A mirror that reflects our own capacity to care, to feel, to show up, and a window into the lives of others. A view that once seen clearly cannot be unseen. To understand empathy is to return to something essential. It is to remember that we are not meant to walk alone, to numb out, to close off. We are meant to reach toward, to be moved, to hold space for one another in ways that are tender and true. Because in the end, empathy is not the soft skill, it is the essential skill. And understanding it is the first step to practicing it, living it, and letting it change the way we move through the world. The Empathy Gap. It is black and white. I promise you it's a good read. You should go grab it. Go to my website, TammyTriello.com, and get your book. You can also get your scorecards. Your scorecards give you a snapshot of where you sit with empathy so that when you read the book, you can truly have a true version or vision of yourself. So go to my website, download your scorecards, start with the empathy, and if you've been doing real work, move to the self-empathy scorecard, and then grab the book.